6:45 a.m. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The news edited by J. Yogaraj and read by Mario Vijayavardhana. The headlines. Isolation of several areas in Colombo and Gampaha lifted. 403 more coronavirus cases identified in Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka reports 2 more COVID-19 deaths. It is stressed that State Minister Sudarshini Fernandopulle has not been appointed to any committee to look into the cremation or burial procedures of corona victims. The Railways Department decides to increase the number of train services operating on all lines with effect from today. In news overseas, US election, Trump tells Georgia election official to find votes to overturn Biden win. In sports news, South Africa in commanding position after they bundled out Sri Lanka for a mere 157 in the first innings. The National Operations Centre for the Prevention of the COVID-19 Outbreak Head General Shavendra Silva says isolation orders on several areas in Colombo and Gampaha will be lifted from today. Accordingly, the areas will no longer be under isolation from 5 a.m. today are as follows. In the Colombo district, the Modara Police Division, the Kesalwatta Police Division, Aluthkade West and Aluthkade East Grama Nidadari Divisions, the Vanathamulla Grama Nidadari Division of the Borella Police Division, the Melavatta Pitakote Grama Nidadari Division of the Mirihana Police Division. In the Gampaha district, the Palagoda Police Division, Palagoda and Megahavatta Grama Nidadari Divisions, Rohana Vihara Road area of Pattaya North Grama Nidadari Division and Nelligahavatta and Puranakottuvatta areas of the Palagoda Gangabadda Grama Nidadari Division. In the Kiribathgoda Police Division, Sri Jayanti Mavata area of the Vilagoda North Grama Nidadari Division. Areas declared as isolated in the remaining districts will continue to remain under isolation until further notice. The total count of COVID-19 cases reported in Sri Lanka reached 44,774. The Department of Government Information said 403 fresh cases have been detected yesterday. According to the Health Ministry's data, 37,252 of the confirmed patients have made complete recoveries from the virus. However, 7,311 active cases are still under medical care at select hospitals and treatment centres located across the island. Meanwhile, Sri Lanka has witnessed 211 deaths from the virus so far. Sri Lanka's death toll from the coronavirus pandemic went up with 2 more deaths caused by the virus being reported yesterday, the Government Information Department said. The Director General of Health Services has confirmed that 2 females aged 57 and 76 years have succumbed to the virus in this manner. The 57-year-old woman had succumbed to a severe chest infection and COVID-19 pneumonia. The Valleypenna resident had been transferred from the Kaluthura General Hospital to the Homagama Base Hospital where she passed away yesterday. The 76-year-old woman too had died at the Homagama Base Hospital. She had been transferred to the Homagama Hospital upon being identified as a COVID-19 patient at the Colombo National Hospital. She had died today from COVID-19 pneumonia, heart conditions and epilepsy. She was a resident of Colombo 15. Accordingly, the total count of fatalities in Sri Lanka from the COVID-19 pandemic is at 213 cases. This news broadcast comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. It has been stressed that State Minister Sudarshini Fernandopulle has not been appointed to any committee to look into the cremation or burial procedures of corona victims. The Secretary to the State Ministry of New Primary Health Services, Communal Diseases and COVID-19 Control Affairs, Tusita Jayawardena says some media reports have quoted wrongly in this regard. The Secretary clarified this in a media conference. The Foreign Secretary, Admiral Jayanath Columbage, says approximately 68,000 Sri Lankans overseas have been waitlisted by the Foreign Ministry for repatriation. He said that as the conditions abroad deteriorate and due to the large number of layoffs and other causes of unemployment, the number of prospective returnees keeps rising. The Foreign Secretary, Columbage, said the latest fortnightly schedule of flights finalized to be operated between the 2nd and the 9th of January will include 1,400 passengers from Chennai, Melbourne, Kuwait, Doha, Canada, Cyprus and Dubai. The Sri Lanka Railways Station Masters Union says the Railways Department has decided to increase the number of train services operating on all lines with effect from today. They said 64 train services on the main line, 74 trains alone on the coastal line, 12 on the Kalini Valley line, 6 trains on the northern line and 26 trains on the Puttalama line will run during the week from today. All train services have been added to the railway timetable to make it easy for commuters. Meanwhile, the SLSMU said that the long-distance services will no longer be operational. That's local news.
A mother knows the pain of each member of the family. Siddhalepa, the trusted relief for aches and pains.
An effective therapy for relief from cold, sneezing, flu, headaches, swelling due to toothaches, rheumatic, discomforts and muscular aches and pains. Siddhalepa, the Veda Mahatmya in every home.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Veda Mahatmya.
The training program for agricultural officers will commence from today. The Secretary to the Ministry of Agriculture, Major General Sumedha Pereira, says consultants will be trained under the first phase of this program. Accordingly, 960 consultants will be trained. These training programs will be conducted in Anuradhapura, Sita Eliya, Mahailu Pallagama and Galen Bidunuwava training centres.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Veda Mahatmya. Brush your teeth twice a day for healthy teeth and gums. Supiriviki and Kakulu, your trusted brands in oral care for many years.
Supiriviki Ayurvedic toothpaste for adults. Kakulu Ayurvedic toothpaste for kids. 9 Ayurvedic ingredients of Supiriviki will protect your teeth and strengthen your gums. Supiriviki and Kakulu, products from Siddhalepa.
And now in Watchlight, the consumers complain about the price hikes of certain essential goods. Some errant traders have increased the prices arbitrarily. They say the price hike is done due to various reasons, including transport costs and unnecessary overheads due to COVID-19. As a result, low-income families are affected. This is for the attention of the Consumer Affairs Authority.
World News, brought to you by courtesy of...
From the first step you take till the time we meet, the trusted leader prioritizes you always.
All you need under one roof. People's Leasing, the trusted leader.
In world news headlines, US election, Trump tells Georgia election official to find votes to overturn Biden win. In COVID news, regional rules probably going to get tougher, says Boris Johnson. Sweden official defends Christmas trip to the Canary Islands. US President Donald Trump has been recorded telling Georgia's top election official to find enough votes to overturn the election result. Mr. Raffensperger is heard replying that Georgia's results were correct. Joe Biden won Georgia alongside other swing states, winning 306 electoral college votes to Mr. Trump's 232. Since the 3rd of November vote, Mr. Trump has been alleging widespread electoral fraud without providing any evidence. Regional restrictions in England are probably about to get tougher to curb rising COVID infections, the Prime Minister has warned. Boris Johnson told the BBC stronger measures may be required in parts of the country in the coming weeks. He said this included the possibility of keeping schools closed, although this is not something we want to do. Labour leader Sir Keir Starmer has called for New England-wide restrictions within 24 hours. A top Swedish official involved in the coronavirus response has defended a Christmas holiday in the Canary Islands in the face of heavy criticism. Dan Eliasson is head of the Civil Contingencies Agency, which earlier in December had texted all Swedes urging them to avoid travel. He was photographed in La Palma, on the island of Gran Canaria. Mr. Eliasson insisted the trip was necessary for family reasons. He told Swedish media that he had given up a lot of trips during this pandemic, but thought this one was necessary because he had a daughter living in the islands. And now the main points of the world news segment once again. US election, Trump tells Georgia election official to find votes to overturn Biden win. In COVID news, regional rules probably going to get tougher, says Boris Johnson. Sweden official defends Christmas trip to Canary Islands. That was world news, and now in development news. SkyUp Airlines PQ555 with 173 tourists arrived at the Mattala Rajapaksa International Airport on Saturday. This is the third group of Ukrainian tourists who arrived in the country under the pilot project of the government to revive the tourism industry of Sri Lanka. Airport and Aviation Services Sri Lanka Limited facilitated the arrival process at the Mattala Rajapaksa International Airport in compliance with Health and Civil Aviation Authority requirements in Sri Lanka. That was development news.
World News. Brought to you by courtesy of...
From the first step you take till the time we meet, the trusted leader prioritizes you always.
All you need under one roof. People's Leasing, the trusted leader.
And now in sports news. In cricket, Andrik Nortje gutted Sri Lanka's middle order after Wian Mulder set a top-order collapse in motion as South Africa skittled the visitors for 157 and moved into a commanding position at the Wanderers. Nortje frequently hit speeds of above 145 kilometers per hour on a pitch with steepling bounce at times, unsettling several Sri Lanka batsmen with his bouncer and backing them into positions where they did not trust their defence against him. Many fell playing attacking shots, and Nortje claimed 6 for 56, the best figures of his fledgling career. In score, Sri Lanka batted first and made 157 in their first innings. In reply, South Africa were 148 for 1 at the end of the first day's play of the second test between Sri Lanka and South Africa. Today is the second day's play. That was sports news. And now in business news, State Minister of Aviation and Investment Zone Development D.V. Chanaka said that the airports were expected to be open for both foreign and local air travellers from January 23rd, adhering to health guidelines. The government hopes to carry out the duties of the offices and institutions according to health and safety precautions, getting in line with the new normal. Some countries already started welcoming tourists, opening their airports and countries before us, and we hope to learn from them and restart our tourism industry, Minister Chanaka said.
Economic news, courtesy of...
Hello, Puta. Did you land already?
We're in transit and our flight got delayed.
How is Shani? Poor thing with her pregnancy.
Calm down, everything is sorted. Why, I have my LOLC World Card with me. We are at the VIP lounge.
LOLC Finance Credit Cards. Fuel the goodness in you.
Tourism Minister Prasanna Ranatunga said it was hilarious that the opposition, which was urging the government to provide relief for the people engaged in the tourism sector, is now against the opening of the country for tourists. The minister further stated that there are over 3 million who directly or indirectly depend on the tourism industry. Their livelihoods were badly affected by the pandemic for the past 9 months. They were helpless, and there is a request from them to open the country for international tourists, strictly adhering to the health guidelines. There is no danger to the country and the people, even though the country has been open for tourists visiting in chartered flights too. All tourists arriving have to undergo 2 PCR tests, and they will be in a bubble away from Sri Lankans.
Congratulations on your promotion. Heard you gave a treat for everyone in your department yesterday.
Yeah.
When will be our treat, huh?
Well, how about today?
Oh no, I was just joking. We'll have a party with your new salary.
It's fine. I have my LOLC credit card with me. Let's go out today.
Those who spread goodness radiate happiness to everyone around them. Introducing LOLC Finance Credit Cards. Fuel the goodness in you.
And now for the weather report. The Met Department says showers will occur at times in the northern, eastern, north central and Uva provinces and in the Hambantota, Nuwara Eliya and Matale district. Showers or thundershowers will occur at several places elsewhere during the evening hours. Meanwhile, fairly heavy showers above 75 millimeters can be expected at some places in the Sabaragama province and in the Gala and Matra districts. The general public is kindly requested to take adequate precautions to minimize damages caused by temporary localized strong winds and lightning during the thunder showers. This weather report was issued this morning at 4:30 a.m. Further details could be obtained by visiting the official website of the department. That was the weather report, and now the headlines of this news broadcast once again. Isolation of several areas in Colombo and Gampaha lifted. 403 more coronavirus cases identified in Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka reports 2 more COVID-19 deaths. It is stressed that State Minister Sudarshini Fernandopulle has not been appointed to any committee to look into the cremation or burial procedures of coronavirus victims. Railways Department decides to increase the number of train services operating on all lines with effect from today. In news overseas, US election, Trump tells Georgia election official to find votes to overturn Biden win. In sports, South Africa in commanding position after they bundled out Sri Lanka for a mere 157 in the first innings. That concludes this news broadcast, and now it's back to Sharifa Tahir on the other side to keep you company this Monday morning. Over to you, Sharifa.